Welcome back to Interviews from the Backseat. I'm so excited today to have one of my best friends and mentors with me, Mr. Brian Peart. Brian is owner of Nexus Financial Group and Commercial Capital Limited. He does commercial lending, and he's one of the top commercial lending closers in the country. I've learned so much from him. When banks can't close on a loan, he's the one that can make it happen. So he's been a huge mentor of mine and taught me so much, and I'm just so excited to have him here, and hopefully you guys can learn something too. First question, when you saw businesses shutting down at the beginning of COVID, what was going through your head?
I was ready for it. After 08, I learned some things and I applied them and kind of made my business to where, should that stuff happen, I'd be able to handle it, and it proved out okay. And it was like, oh wow, here we go again.
It's amazing how we take our history and actually learn from it.
I only learn from, making mistakes and then trying not to do them the second time. And eventually, if you make enough of them and you don't make them twice, you end up okay.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened.
That's awesome. How has COVID-19 affected the commercial lending industry and your business?
Okay, so it's had a big impact. A lot of people that are in my industry have made no money for 4, 5, 6 months, and being self-employed and whatever, I don't know that many of them were able to get unemployment either. So really, a lot of people are hurting in my industry. Half of my lenders went out of business or got sidelined after March, and then probably half of the loans that were in my pipeline had to go on hold because the states or their industries were shut down. Restaurants were shut down, hotels were shut down, and all of these are clients of mine. So, So literally about 2/3 of my entire pipeline, just sat on hold. And so for us, it was big. Not like residential where the money's continued to flow. Commercial was a lot different. The good side of that is, I'm the place to go when the banks say no. So now all of a sudden everybody's saying no, and then I continue to market, and I ended up keeping the deal flow and the lead flow just the same. I didn't have the same number of closings because everything couldn't close yet. So this quarter looks really good, but it was a tough quarter.
Yeah, one of the things I've learned from Brian is look at your metrics and monitor your metrics so that you can be able to make adjustments. And
you got to know your numbers.
Got to know your numbers. Yep.
Know your numbers. The first 6 months of this year, we're down 50% in gross sales.
Okay.
So I can have a monster second half of the year and end up, where I was last year in gross sales. So if we can catch up and get back to where we were, then I'll be pocketing a lot more money, and we're way off the mark right now, and it would really be a big second half to do it. But I think it's possible.
So what is the best thing that has happened because of COVID-19?
Seeing what I thought would happen if things got bad, that we'd be able to survive and maybe even thrive, proved true. So knowing that I have a business that is kind of COVID resistant or a crashing resistant was really positive for me. It was affirming of the strategic things I'd done, years ago.
Right.
And then I learned Zoom for the Rotary and how to do meetings with Zoom. So Zoom is going to make me more effective. Now I can do some things with Zoom I never knew it existed before, and I'm very comfortable with it now. And so I'll utilize that tool to be more effective. That was one good thing that came out of it.
Yeah. So what are the struggles that are continuing to face?
Well, now the loans can close because the states have opened and the businesses have opened. So now that the stuff can do, now it's kind of lender backlog, fighting with that, and apathy. Borrower apathy, lender apathy, everybody, it's almost like, oh, well, with COVID, that's an excuse to not work or an excuse to not perform on a timeline, or when I have to close a loan on a certain date, we'll do our best, but, with COVID and all, it's unacceptable to me. With COVID and all, what does that mean? Does that mean you're dying of COVID and that's why you can't perform your duty? Or is COVID just the excuse that's socially acceptable to use for apathy, lack of effort, lack of whatever? So just fighting that has been the struggle now. the positive, always spinning the positive, is the stuff is getting to the closing table. It is starting to close. I am beginning to have good revenue coming in again, and this quarter looks like it's going to be a very good quarter. So I've been blessed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for the end of COVID-19?
To be stronger than I went in. I'm working a plan. I'm adding a couple revenue streams. I'm constantly looking at my business and trying to see, if I can improve this a little bit and that a little bit. Not any major overhauls, but if I can improve my customer service this, or if I can make an extra phone call or thing here, if I can roll this new thing out, will that increase my sales? And so
Right.
just kind of looking at how I can just improve just always staying growth oriented, progressive, expanding. That's kind of my mantra.
So what do you recommend to business owners to do right now that would put them in a better position at the end of this?
I really think that you can't stay still. Okay, that apathy thing I was talking about, you can't stay still. Don't use COVID as an excuse not to create a strategic plan and start implementing that plan. Start now. If your business is slower than it was, then that's the perfect time to use that extra time to grow yourself, to grow your business, like what you're doing here. You're doing these interviews. If you were busy in your normal business, you wouldn't have time for this. So, oh man, I have some extra time. Well, maybe this is a new way to grow it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Do what you're doing. Think creatively, because there's no competition in the creative plan. There's no other limo guys doing this, so you have no competition. Yeah. And just think of new things. If there's things you've always thought like you wanted to apply, well, maybe now's the time to do it. When you can, and don't let money be a hindrance or an issue, because there's always money available. And a lot of things, if you don't have it, you get creative. You can do it without money.
Right.
This doesn't cost much. What you're doing, you're utilizing an existing thing you have and a cell phone. You had both those things already. Yep. So it's that type of stuff. We deployed a new revenue stream, and we're going to roll another one out in a couple months. So we'll have multiple revenues coming out of this thing that we didn't have going in, just because we had time to execute. Right. So I'm excited about it, though.
Now, what about somebody that works for somebody else? Not a business owner, but somebody that works a regular job. What do you recommend they do right now to better themselves?
I've owned this company for 25 years, so I haven't been employed by somebody else. But when I was employed by somebody else, I always, even if I was a bar back or a bartender, I always acted as if I was the owner of the place. Mm-hmm. So I always thought like I was the owner of the place. If a customer experienced a bad situation, I would say, all right, let me give you a free drink, or let me do whatever. I would act as if I had that authority, even if I didn't necessarily, and just trust that I'd be rewarded. So I would say, act as if you're the owner and think, what can I do to help this owner's business? If you can add value to that person's bottom line, make the place more safe, make the customers feel better, generate additional revenue, then you're going to get promotions. You're going to become someone that if the crud hits the fan and they absolutely have to let people go, you'll be the last person let go, because you're the most important person in the business. Make yourself indispensable. And when you do that, there's going to be other people at other companies that are going to notice, and they'll steal you away, and you'll get paid more.
Absolutely. So. That's awesome. Lastly, what additional advice do you have to encourage people, build people up, and inspire people through this challenging time?
So there's two ways to go about business. There's the competitive plane, and then there's creative plane.
Right.
Okay, and we've all met those people that are they're in business to win. They're going to beat the other guy. That's the competitive plane. No one wins on the competitive plane. On the creative plane, there are no losers. Okay, if you do this, then like what you're doing here, okay, then I send this video to my group, and it might build your business, but it might build my business, and there's no losers. There's no one loses, and so on the creative plane, there is no lack. On the creative plane, there's all the money available to you in the world. So there's no shortage of money. There's no shortage of whatever. All you need is your creativity and the aggressiveness to actually go and apply yourself to whatever these ideas you have. And so I would encourage you to always think creatively, try to operate on that plane, try to add value and grow, and not worry about what the competition's doing, not even worry about the competition. Like Apple doesn't worry about Microsoft. They just try to create the next best thing. Focus on being the best company you can be, and don't worry about the competition. And I'd say, don't worry about the politics and all the noise. The noise is only going to get you down. You can't change it. You got your vote. You do your one vote. That's all you can input the situation. You're not going to change anything else by spending hours worrying about it, watching all the media, watching all the shows. I would just focus on your business, focus on your family, focus on people you love, and just be positive influence to who you can influence. The best way to handle change is to do the best that in the things you can control, and not worry about the things you can't. Not spend time giving it even any of your energy or thought, because it's not worth it. And just be the best you can be, and honor your family, your obligations, and God, and you'll do all right. I think.
That's awesome.
I hope.
You hope.
I'll do all right.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for your information. Everything that you said, really, really good, and being a part of Interviews from the Backseat.
Thank you.
So if you want to reach out to Brian as far as commercial lending goes, he is your guy. You can reach out to him either through his website, commercialcapitalltd.com. You can call him at 770-908-1672, or you can email him at commercialmoney411@gmail.com. And again, thank you. I can't thank you enough for everything. Yeah, we'll wash hands after. So, well, check back with us for the next interview from the back seat. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us on LinkedIn and Instagram, as well as Facebook. And until next time, be encouraged and make a difference.